All right, y'all. So let's go over body lock passing today. So I want to start with what we should be doing with our upper body, and then I'm going to turn around and show you guys what I'm doing with my hips and my legs. So whenever we get to a body lock, I'm not going to talk about any of like the fancy ways we can enter into this position, but anytime I can get my forehead onto my training partner's chest and my arms around my training partner's hips. When you go to lock your hands, do not lock your hands directly underneath your training partner's back. This is not only going to cause like discomfort in your training partner's body weight crushing your hands, and it's going to be an inherently looser and weaker grip, but it's also going to open up a huge gap of space for Moaz to start pummeling and underhooks on either side, potentially both underhooks. Good. Pulling our arms up and then turning our body lock into his own offense. So in order to avoid that and to have a tighter, stronger grip, I want to make sure that one of my arms comes deep around my training partner's hips, and then we connect our hands on the outside of the hips as opposed to underneath the middle of his back. So once we get to our long arm and our short arm, my left arm being long in this case, my right arm being short, we can start pulling our training partner's butt towards his heels, and we can use our head on our training partner's chest and shoulders to start forcing them down to the mat. Do not allow your training partner to start pushing his head off to one side. You become susceptible to getting swept if they can push your head too far to one side. So I make sure at all times that I have a long arm and short arm with my arms, and I keep my forehead or my temple on my training partner's chest as long as possible as a means to keep his shoulders flat to the mat. All right, y'all. So what to do with the lower body when we're body lock passing. So when we get to our long arm and short arm and we have our forehead glued to our training partner's chest, we can start pulling his hips in and driving him down to the mat with our head position. What I don't want to allow to happen is Moaz, to start sweeping me. This is where his butterfly hooks are very strong and he's able to break my posture. Good. If we go from top position to bottom, very bad for us, very good for him. And two, we want to avoid getting put in close guard. So whenever, there's this huge gap of space between my elbows and my knees, it's very easy for the bottom person to take both their legs out. You get put in close guard, this is disastrous. There's no more body lock anymore. I have to now start standing up, posturing, and breaking the lock of my training partner's legs before I can proceed. So when we get here, the way I'm going to negate his butterfly hooks and prevent him from locking me in a close guard is with a combination of knee-elbow connection and sprawling. So if I want to pass to my right, I want to step my right leg up, connecting it to my right elbow as my left leg and hip sprawl down to the mat. This very often will negate your training partner's butterfly hooks. And when people feel that as they try to forward shift you or butterfly sweep you and they can't because of the misalignment of your hips, they'll do is often put a leg around your back. And this is fine. This is pretty much meaningless because as long as I can prevent Moaz from getting his second leg out, we're still in a very good passing position. So let's rotate. So once we get here, I step my right leg up. I sprawl my left hip down. When Moaz tries to put me in close guard, he might be able to get one leg around my back, but he's not going to get the second one. And then it's from here that we can start proceeding by either shelving the leg or stepping over the knee, forcing half guard, and climbing up the body to complete the pass. All right, guys. So once we successfully negate all of our training partners' like common defensive reactions, we shut down his close guard, we shut down his butterfly hooks by stepping up with this knee elbow connection and sprawling our opposite hip down. What we do to proceed is going to depend on, they're ultimately going to be two of the similar things, but it's going to depend on what happens with Moaz's inside foot. So if I see that Moaz's inside foot drifts between my legs, then I'm just going to look to bring my left knee up, step over with my right knee, bring my head across, and we can force a chest-to-chest half guard in this position. From here, it's very important that I keep my forehead over or on top of my training partner's shoulder. Anytime your head gets stuffed underneath the armpit, yeah, there's potential for buggy chokes or even just people coming up to their side in a way. Yeah, we're no longer keeping him flat, and we have to work harder to start freeing our trapped leg. So I make sure that I use my head position to keep his shoulders pinned on the mat as I start bringing my hips up. And we can use our free foot, in this case, my right foot, to start pummeling in a butterfly hook. And then pummeling out either directly to mount or side control, depending on his defensive reactions. Let's see. All right. So now, what if Moaz does not keep his foot between our legs? This is even better for us. So if I can get to my body lock, step up, sprawl down. Sometimes this inside foot will, yeah, either drift past our hips or through an action of walking. I can get my knee and my hip past the line of Moaz's toes, and then it's from here that we can safely kneel again on coming up to both knees, and we can shelf his leg, trapping it across our hips. From here, it's the same exact thing as stepping over to a chest-to-chest half guard, except now once I step over his knee, I'm going to be directly in side control. So from here, I want to bring my head across, bring my right leg up, stepping over his knee, and then I can walk, scissor my legs, and then coming into a good side control, building up the body into cross faces and getting to all of our scores. We get to our body lock. I step up, sprawl down, and then from here, we see that we can keep Moaz's foot from coming between our legs. So I just slide up with my left knee, and then from here, before I step over, I want to bring my head across. As I bring my head across, I make sure, again, I don't let him stuff my head underneath his armpit. I want to keep my head on top of or above his shoulder. And then from here, we can start looking to step over, walk back towards the hips, scissor, and we end up in a good attacking position and getting to our scores.